Bomb is one of the strongest fighters on Earth. Even at the age of 83, making him the oldest living human we know of in One Punch Man, he is still on par with, and in some cases, stronger than most S-class heroes. And right now, aside from mysterious beings, he's definitely the most powerful non-hero in the series. Master Bang and his older brother Bomb are recognized to be the two greatest martial arts masters in the entire world. But between them, there is a definitive gap in strength. Despite his old age, Bang, better known by his former hero name, Silver Fang, was able to maintain his position as the third highest ranking S-class hero. This anime stuff will have you thinking that every retirement home needs a tournament arena because these old folks are dangerous. To only be outclassed by the supernatural powers of Tatsumaki and Blast is beyond impressive. Atomic Samurai, the man ranked just beneath Bang, specifically joined the Hero Association in order to compete with him. But embarrassingly enough, Bang never once acknowledged Kamikaze as his rival. And this is the greatest swordsman in the world we're talking about. Personally, I think Flashy Flash would be a far more suitable competitor for Atomic, even though the ninja would easily smoke him in a fight. I feel like Atomic Samurai just really likes old people or something. Before most of them got turned into fondue by a big ugly booger monster, if you somehow miss the weapons on their hips, you might mistake the Council of Swordmasters for a bingo club. But unlike Bang, Bomb isn't just one of the strongest martial artists, he is the strongest martial artist. Back when they were both in their prime, Bang was a very different man from the one he is today. He was very similar to Garo back then. And I mean very similar. Assured of his own overwhelming power, Bang sought out and fought against all of the strongest fighters of his era. If I didn't know any better, I might just think that they were father and son. Back then, they didn't have things like disaster levels or the Hero Association, so you could definitely make the argument that Garo had far better competition to choose from than Bang did. But at the same time, you guys know how this anime stuff goes. Old heads usually know the trenches very well and see all the challenges young people deal with as a joke. To get to school, they used to get up earlier than the rooster, travel barefoot for miles, wrestle wild animals on an empty stomach, and a bunch of other crazy things. If you have foreign grandparents, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For whatever reason, older generations are always built differently. So don't be surprised that there were actually some solid fighters besides the brothers back then. Bang's original fighting style, the exploding heart release fist, was beyond vicious and is now considered a forbidden art. It's a far cry from his current water stream rock smashing fist technique and primarily focuses on brute strength and overwhelmingly destructive power. At the time, Bang was said to be absolutely drowning in martial arts talent. By forcing his own heart to explosively beat in rhythm with the delivery of his hits, Bang could quickly surpass the limitations of his body, striking much harder and way faster. In this state, the simple movement of his arms was able to produce after images. His punches could even create repelling shockwaves. At least in terms of his approach, this was Bang at the pinnacle of his lethality. But while Garo had something to prove and was striving to become the most dangerous monster in the world, young Bang was just trying to have a good time. I don't know if he was stealing money from his victims or what, but this man was living the good life. When Bomb pulled up to set his little brother down the right path, Bang was sauced up and sharing drinks with 3 beautiful women. Bomb, meanwhile, had dedicated his entire existence, both night and day, to training. But that's not to say that Bomb wasn't just as enticed by a worthy challenge. Despite believing King to be the strongest man on Earth, apparently if Bomb was younger, he would be just as eager to overcome the guy as Speedo Sound Sonic is with Saitama. Bomb wasn't just going to let his little brother continue being a menace to society, and when they fought against each other head to head, he was able to win by a landslide. It was to the point where afterwards, even the act of speaking took all the strength Bang had left. It's honestly a tragedy that we didn't get to actually see the contents of their fight. Because it came to us in the same chapter that Bang and Monster Garo were fighting in, Murata decided to only emphasize the result of their clash. During their fight, Bang was fully prepared to kill his older brother. He backed each of his moves with killing intent the entire time on some internal Mangekyo Sharingan achievement hunting. Bomb, meanwhile, possessed no such thing at all. Bomb pieced that boy up while maintaining the peace. Bang wasn't even able to push him to go all out. The fact of the matter is that Bomb could have easily killed the man at any moment. Frankly, killing is the core basis of how he fights. Bomb's signature fighting style, the Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, is absurdly deadly. It's probably my favorite fighting style in the whole series. With it, a person pretty much becomes an airbender and is able to use sharp pressurized gusts of cutting wind. The closer a person is to their target, the more force they'll be able to exert. It seems like this style is based on leopard kung fu, one of the 5 animal styles of Chinese martial arts. And don't even try to lie, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before you ever even got into One Punch Man. And that's because, funny enough, it was the fighting style of Tai Lung, the original antagonist of Kung Fu Panda. I don't care who you are, there is no denying that those fight scenes go hard. Anyways, leopard kung fu focuses on extremely quick hit and run tactics modeled after the real-life animal. With a heavy focus on damage, it's known for sudden bursts of overwhelming power and unpredictable movements. That being said, the way he forms his hands is more similar to the fist of Southern Dragon Kung Fu. Even now, Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist is powerful enough for Bomb to instantly kill anyone besides the absolute strongest of opponents if he can make the first move. When Garo used it against Super Mouse, a disaster-level demon monster, the creature was able to heal from the damage in only a matter of seconds. Meanwhile, according to Murata, if Bomb had been the one to do it, he would have killed the creature faster than it could even react. Which is to say that only opponents of disaster-level dragon and above are able to survive an attack from him. But that's only right now. It's no secret that Bomb's strength has degraded with age. He's not as powerful as he was in his youth, and make sure to remind us of that fact almost every time we see him. In theory, perhaps Bomb in his prime could have even one-shot some disaster-level dragon threats. I know we have a whole video talking about Blast being the One Punch Man before Saitama, but it seems like Bomb was deserving of that title even before him. Besides his lethality, Bomb's precision and finesse are almost otherworldly. With a single kick, Bomb managed to turn 2 monsters into mincemeat while allowing Garo, the one he had actually hit with his foot, to remain uncut. This is pretty much the martial arts equivalent of Master Nichiren's ability to slice a distant mountain while leaving an apple unharmed. Well, I guess the apple was cut too, but it hadn't noticed. Which is just anime logic, I don't know what to tell you. Bomb is also able to carve solid stone into various different shapes in an instant. What's really impressive to me is that Bang and Bomb were able to become as strong as they have, even though the challenges of their heyday, strong opponents are not, were nothing like they are today. The rise of monsters in the world of One Punch Man is a rather recent development. Thanks to the conflict between the Saints and Deathbone, we know that monsters have practically always existed. Even 800 years ago, the Cruel Dragon was a threat to the entire planet. But it's only been in the last few years that the appearance of these things has become so widespread and common. We've seen firsthand through Garo that repeatedly fighting worthy and/or superior opponents can result in exponential growth. As far as we know, Bomb was once the strongest human in the world, and by quite a large margin. I can only imagine how much stronger he would be if he actually had some serious competition back then. When it comes to handling other melee fighters, especially humanoids, Bang's Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist is pretty much perfect. It scales really well against tougher opponents since it allows for redirection and using another person's strength against them. Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, on the other hand, all but totally disregards defense in exchange for swiftly delivering a fatal blow. It largely depends on there being a sizable margin between the strength of the user and the target. As much as he loves martial arts, Bomb is also someone who really values peace. To quote Miyamoto Musashi, the ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. And I think this is why, despite being stronger than his brother, Bomb gets nowhere near the same amount of recognition or appreciation. His ideal fight is a quick one. To make that happen, he's gotta be faster and stronger than his opponent, which doesn't exactly make for the most entertaining sorts of fights and is made a whole lot harder now that he's old. If Bomb was locked in the same room of monsters as Zombie Man was during the Monster Association arc, there is no doubt in my mind that he would have slaughtered them all with flawless execution. But for S-class level characters, that should be a given, so it's not nearly as impressive as it otherwise would be. It's why Bomb thought that Bang sending King to train with him would be a waste of time. For the best results, you need to be much stronger than your opponent. But that can be really redundant because in that case, you should be able to beat that person without it. While training all day every day, something interesting happened to Bomb. He started to go bald. When Bang mentioned it, Bomb claimed that it was a result of stress, but maybe there's more to this. Losing his hair seems to be a major cost that Saitama paid in order to break his limiter and become as strong as he is. And when King visited the final training ground, which is supposedly where people end up when they want to surpass their own limits, what did he find inside? A man who was almost entirely bald. Take that how you will. Because he's mostly Bang's +1, we don't really get to see Bomb in action too much, especially by his lonesome. The one time we did was when Bomb fought a post-Dark Shine Garo. But unfortunately for the old man, all the chips were stacked against him. Just before Garo decided to pop up from the ground like a new form of Diglett, Bomb had his energy drained by Fubuki and transferred to Tank Top Master to help him survive. Although it's not entirely clear how much energy was taken here, we have to remember that despite being nowhere near the top of the totem in terms of power, Tank Top Master is still an S-class hero regardless. This man is huge and is physically one of the strongest guys on the planet. He's certainly not touching characters like Bomb when it comes to technique, but his muscularity and raw physical strength are undeniably demanding. Tank Top Master was able to lift a building-sized block of cement with a single arm and threw it at the Dark Matter Thieves ship so fast that it disappeared from view upon release. This man intercepted Metal Knight's colossal robot and actually stopped it from moving forward. I'm not about to overwhelm you guys with a bunch of numbers and calculations, but this thing is more than 1,000 feet tall. It's the size of like 6 colossal titans standing on each other's shoulders. Compare all that to Bomb, who at his age could barely manage to run while carrying a handful of heroes on his back. After the transfer, Bomb was thoroughly exhausted. The next issue is that Bomb wasn't able to make the first move, which severely limits the effectiveness of his fighting style. Not to mention, he also had to worry about protecting Fubuki from the guy. In the end, Garo won by mimicking Bomb's fighting style and canceling out his attack. It was already established beforehand that Garo's use of the technique is inferior. But on account of the energy loss, Bomb was brought down to a comparable level. The power differential would be even greater if Bomb was in his prime, or even if he had his brother's awakening breath, the Demon Slayer-like breathing style that lets a person push their body to its utmost limit. And on that note, we keep talking about the effects of age on his capabilities, but how much of a difference does it really make? Well, as humans grow older, there is an inherent loss of muscle mass and strength. This is what's known as sarcopenia. Generally, a person is able to reach their physical peak at around 30 to 35 years old. From there, with every passing decade, a person can expect to lose about 3 to 5% of their muscle mass. And once you get past 65 years old, the rate can increase even more to varying degrees. And even all that is just one aspect of the aging process. Shout out to the senior citizens watching this video. The best thing we could ever hope for Bang and Bomb would be for them to regain their youth thanks to Dr. Genus. Despite being about 100 years old, the Mad Doctor was able to reverse the aging process entirely. It's pretty unlikely, but you never know with this series. It seems like Garo's being prepared to at some point replace Silver Fang within the Hero Association. Because he already uses the Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, training a bit under Bomb to refine its usage wouldn't be a bad idea. Even if nothing else is really done with the character from here on out, the manga has already done plenty to make Bomb a badass. In the webcomic, he's a total joke. Bro doesn't even take down a single monster throughout it all. Against Elder Centipede, he did no damage at all. In fact, the monster pierced through his leg and took him out of the equation entirely. During a live stream in 2017, after a fan brought up the fact that even Metal Bat was able to do something to the monster, yet Bomb is supposed to be stronger than Bang, Murata changed the entire thing to preserve the power scaling. And during the Monster Association arc, it was even worse. Old boy got one tap by a single black S and was out for the entire event. I'm not talking about Platinum S. I'm not talking about Golden S. I'm not even talking about a group of them. One itty bitty black S, the same type of creature Saitama has eating dog food, was able to dog walk the greatest martial artist in the world. In general, the manga feats of most characters are a lot more impressive than the webcomic ones, but I am so glad Murata decided to give Bomb his respect. And hopefully you guys can appreciate him even more thanks to this video. If there are any other characters you want us to cover like this, make some noise in the comments. This video was made possible by you guys absolutely crushing a like goal, so thanks again for that. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.